Fatih Terim, the coach of Galatasaray, more than ever has said that he requires his team tonight for a match they must win to be fulsomely supported. We need our fans, he said. They can influence the result and they can inspire the team to success. It's all part of the message to Senor Vialli, to Messrs Deschamps and Desai, to Chelsea, a message that says welcome to utter pandemonium. Kiev and Moscow further east, Madrid and Athens further south, but Istanbul is down in the bottom right-hand corner of the Champions League map. Chelsea are a long way from home, and these players are entitled to feel it. Amid all the volatility, some stability. Unusually for Turkish football, this club has stuck with a coach, and a coach with the core of his team for 3 years now. 3 years, 3 titles for Galatasaray. Nothing extraordinary about any of this for these players. It could be Fenerbahce or Besiktas visiting. The mania is much the same at this ground, whoever plays. Well, after an hour a man lied at the bridge 3 weeks ago, Galatasaray have a quorum again. Tafarel's dismissal then and suspension now have caused the hasty elevation of Mehmet into goal. He played in a domestic league game on Friday by way of rehearsal and did keep a clean sheet. Arif and Popescu both play their 50th European game tonight. Tugay and teenager Emre come into an otherwise unchanged side. In a visiting team on nights like these, you look for particular experience and coolness. Well, Didier Deschamps did run the Galatasaray gauntlet for Juventus only last December. Albert Ferrer also came here with Barcelona. Significant changes from the weekend defeat at Anfield. Wise sent off then and dropped now on this ground during his 4 years with arch-rivals Fenerbahce. Roberto Di Matteo, by the way, didn't travel. After appearing in the League Cup last week, his rehabilitation continued in the reserves. And no performance will be more critical in an environment like this one than that of Lisbon's Vitor Melio Pereira. He, like Chelsea, is operating in Istanbul for the very first time. Arif there was sacrificed by Galatasaray after Tafarel was sent off in London. He resumes his partnership with Italian Hakan Sukur now. And there's the Italian Gianfranco Zola, who has a new partner tonight in Torre Andre Flo. Well, the fear factor notwithstanding, no English club has ever lost to Galatasaray, even in the day when that man was a player with them. Nor indeed can Chelsea really afford to lose tonight on a night when the Turks themselves must win. Twice recently Manchester United have come to this ground and gathered draws, but only one English side has beaten this club in Turkey. And when I tell you that the scorers were Robson, Regis and Cunningham, you'll know that it was Ron Atkinson's West Brom side of the late 1970s. Ron, you understand Chelsea's task. How are they coping with it and how must they cope with it?
I think first and foremost they've got to be disciplined, they've got to be prepared to keep the ball. They have to finish without a man getting sent off, which might be very difficult in the emotive atmosphere that we've got here. I wonder whether in fact that's the reason Dennis Wise has been left out, but they've got to be brave enough to try and affect the Popescu's. This little man on the ball now has got to try and carry the fight to them a little bit more.
Gianfranco Zola getting to the byline for the first time on the night. He is one who will have played in environments of hostility, indeed enmity, all the way around the continent. But Istanbul is a whole new ball game, believe me. It is quite an experience. This is Zola. Flo was a yard or two offside. It is a din run.
Yeah, I think what you got to find from Chelsea, we looked at the lineup on the caption at the start of the programme, but I think they're going to play slightly different to that. I think at every opportunity, the full-back that's not occupied, Ferrer or Babayara, will tuck in and act as a third centre-back. Deschamps will sweep in front of those markers. And Morris and Poyet will have the licence to get forward as much as they can.
Was so beaten to it in centre field by Georgie Hadji, who was deemed to have gone in a little late and a little too zealously. And the free kick maestro himself has conceded a free kick in a position which he would find very appetising. An early test for Mehmet.
Yeah. Is it a bit far out, do you think, for one of Zola's benders? Or is it going to be a full blast there? I think LeBeuf fancies a blast at it.
Hagi is the culprit. Zola hasn't scored since the opening day of the season. And Didier Deschamps has, going into his 6th campaign in the competition, never scored in the Champions League. It's going to be LeBeuf to have a crack. And he was hurriedly charged down by the outrushing Okan. It's Hakan Ünsal breaking from the left full-back position. Tugay, the holding player in midfield, beaten to it by Morris. Himself a fiery little Londoner who certainly won't have come anywhere near this sort of atmosphere before.
Yeah, I think obviously Deschamps well-schooled in this sort of game. Morris isn't. I think they're going to have to be patient. If they're not sure they can get a tackle on, they might be just prepared to, they might be better off just jockeying the players.
Emre wearing 5 there is the 19-year-old on who many Turkish hopes are being built. Didn't play at Chelsea until towards the end of the piece, but Fatih Terim is one of those with immense faith in him. He's the kind of Joe Cole figure of Turkish football. No caps yet, but there's a certain inevitability about his progress. Didier Deschamps, Marcel Desailly, who, like Dennis Wise, omitted tonight, was sent off at Anfield in a below-par Chelsea performance at the weekend. Poyet, Flo, chosen ahead of Chris Sutton tonight. Away by Fatih, met by Babayaro. Forward by Lasso. Lasso for the byline. Took on Fatih and got beyond him and wanted a corner, but it wasn't forthcoming. He did respond with laudable good humour, Graham Lasso, while warming up at Anfield to inevitable taunts at the weekend after his Robbie Fowler incident of last season. He smiled and joshed with the cop. Now he has a new supporter scenario to deal with. Babayaro. Tackle from Tugay. Babayaro, though, was strong despite being flawed. Header forward was by Fatih, dealt with by LeBeuf, and taken away from the immediate danger zone by Deschamps. Hagi's in feisty mood tonight.
Yeah, I think that's another reason why Deschamps might be asked to protect the back four and maybe try and occupy for Hagi as well.
Hagi, who recently won his 118th cap for Romania, that having supposedly retired after the last World Cup, but having been talked into coming back. Zola, Flo, onside this time and running right at the heart of the defence, but right into the Brazilian Capone. LeBeuf. It's Capone again, via Tugay. Picked up by Arif, who impressed during the half hour he was permitted at Chelsea, but who was necessarily sacrificed, and who has drawn an indiscretion from Frank LeBeuf. LeBeuf's involved again, this time at the expense of Hagi, and it is on Hagi's favoured side, this free kick scenario.
And LeBeuf's got to be very, very careful, not necessarily because of the decisions. He's been flying in there. He's had two warnings in the last 30 seconds. He's put his side in a little bit of a spot of bother here. He's got to be very careful. I think that if he gets another tackling quickly, he'll get a booking.
Well, 3 weeks ago, they got through the whole 90 minutes without a yellow card. Taffarel, of course, got red. But it was a good-natured game, despite all the nasty talk beforehand. But it's reached a stage of the Champions League now, past halfway in the group, where it means so much. Hagi with the free kick, straight at the wall. It's come out to Tugay. Deschamps doing the shielding. And it's fallen nastily from Chelsea's point of view for Okan.
Well, there'll be no more relief player than Graham Lasso on that. What he was thinking of there, he's chest control into the danger zone. And Okan really should have had a better snapshot than this. Look at this. At least he should have been on target. It's a good block. It's a great defensive block, but Lasso will be very grateful for that.
Graham Lasso playing tonight in left midfield in much the same way as Dan Petrescu, for so long a right full-back, is tending to play on the right side of Chelsea's midfield when selected these days. He was one of the omissions that caused the raise of the eyebrows. Leboeuf forward, Poyet climbing as he does so well. Out by Popescu. Two-guy competing against Morris. Lasso getting forward this time and teasing the fullback. But Okan, who nearly profited from Lasso's error a short while ago, has reached the edge of his own penalty area to help get it clear.
Certainly at the moment what Chelsea are doing, they're trying to prevent Galatasaray from building up any sort of tempo, any sort of passing rhythm. They're closing down as quick as possible. They're being a little bit zealous. The tackles are going in a bit fast and furious. And particularly this little fella Hadji, if it's not a foul, he'll buy one. So they have to be extremely careful challenging him.
Babayaro this time at fault. Hadji with the free kick. Away by Desai. Brought down by Morris, but Okan's looking lively in the early stages. Arif was onside. And fell under challenge from Morris, and this time the Portuguese official has let it go. And Lasso has played it forward, and Flo has held it up.
He's a good player, Arif. I thought he was the main threat at the bridge. But he does like a dive, but this little fella's a threat as well. He certainly does like a dive, and I think he was a bit lucky there, Arif, not to get booked for diving.
Up and under from Graham Lasso. Chelsea, by the way, haven't scored a first-half goal in any of their 5 European games this season, nor, in fact, in either leg of their Cup Winners' Cup semi-final against Mallorca last season. So it's 7 European ties since Chelsea scored before half-time. And you can counter that by saying that Galatasaray haven't led yet in the Champions League this year. A goal before the break would break some sort of a duck, and it's Hadji's ball for Hakan Şükür, who's big and rangy and hard to hold off the ball. And who has lured yet another indiscretion from Frank Leboeuf. And Leboeuf sees yellow. It's hard to disguise the fact that that run was coming.
Yeah, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to realise he had three in the first, 10 minutes or so. You're not going to get away with too many. He's got to be patient there. He might think he's a bit unlucky there, Frank Leboeuf. He looks as if he got the ball. But like I say, free kick in a dangerous area. If you can't win possession, just jockey the player away. I'll tell you what, if he gets 3 or 4 free kicks, Hadji, in this range, he's going to score with one of them, that's for sure.
Well, he's had one to sort out his sights, Hadji. Hit the wall first time, it's Hadji again! Tahoe hurriedly across, and the post to his rescue.
It's behind you, Big Ed. It's behind you. This one's nearly behind. I think you'll say it's got it covered. Good save, good flick off the edge of the box, off the edge of the post. Plenty of bend on it, but I actually do think the big Chelsea keeper would have saved that.
Hakan Ünsal seeking out Hakan Şükür, who's got away from the challenge of Desai, got dangerously goal side.
You know, Peter, in the first half hour at Stamford Bridge, those two strikers, Şükür and Arif, gave the two big Frenchmen more trouble than any pair of strikers I've seen this season. Doing that, just peeling off, running down the side. Şükür's particularly good at playing on the defender's shoulder.
Well, Hadji's lost his feet again. Whether that was due to Babayaro or his own thespian tendencies is open to debate.
So see, that's not a free kick in my book, but he's in the danger zone again.
Out by Leboeuf, gathered by Capone. Capone, the Brazilian. Important touch by Babayaro, and the clearance by Lasso. And on a night when you can barely hear yourself think, Chelsea have a great deal of thinking to do after Yeah, 12 minutes, which
Viali's
are really
actually on the
examined.
edge of the technical area here, and I think he's trying to say, somebody get hold of the ball and let's see if we can put some passes in. We're just inviting pressure all the while at the moment.
Well, Haji this time has let some pressure out of the valve. But for a player who, as I mentioned, was on the verge of retirement, he is mighty lively and hugely pumped up.
He was excellent in the first match, Haji. I think I said it then, I think he's the only player I've ever seen that has timeout in matches.
Arif, away from Desai again.
He doesn't like playing against this fella. Desai's played against the best in the world, he's won everything. I've never seen a striker as much as this number 6 Arif give him so many problems.
Hakan Ünsal. Flo won it, but Hakan Ünsal, wearing 33 at left full back, is well stationed to gather once again. Haji, Babayaro at his back. Hakan Sukur through the middle. Awkward one again for Desai, who just got enough on it, but Hakan Sukur has kept it in. Two guys arriving. Arif's header! And Hoy's clutch.
Two things from there straight away. I've got to be warning bells for Chelsea. That's a nice little ball in. Arif almost gets over the top of him. I think Ed De Hoy thinks it's going wide to start with, ensures that there's no problem. But straight away, when Haji comes on this right wing, you know, he ducks back in on his left foot and he tries to ping it in at the back of the defence. And I think Chelsea, if they have a weakness at central defenders, the two central defenders do tend to ball watch a little bit. And that's fatal against people like Hakan, who, as I say, plays on the shoulder.
This is Zola, and Flo through the channel. Too much on Zola's pass. Interesting decision to go with Flo, who Viali has in the past called the best substitute in the world.
Well, it may well be that he thinks he's going to have to play. There's that ball, he's pulling on his shoulder. Just an overhit there from number 14, Fatih. Viali may think that away from home, Flo has this ability to go with the ball himself. And he's been left isolated a little bit up the front.
Well, they were fined thousands and thousands of dollars for fireworks and so on when they played at home to Hertha Berlin, but this is part of the culture here. The colour is near blinding, the noise near deafening. It's a night that simply fulminates. Out by Hakan Ünsal. Didier Deschamps. Poyet labouring to keep it in.
I tell you what, it's that old Bill Shankly saying, isn't it? Quiet the crowd. If they can get this crowd quiet, Chelsea, they've won the game. They will have won the game because this is as enthusiastic a bunch of fans as you'll see anywhere.
Enthusiastic, good word. Free kick against Flo. Reminder that should Chelsea win tonight, then they would go at least second in the group and top if Hertha Berlin and Milan were to draw, as they did 3 weeks ago. But to that end, they are now having to play in territory which is swathed in smoke, out of which strides Poyet long-leggedly. Desai, massively tested already. Leboeuf, who's still second in the queue behind Laurent Blanc to join Desai in the French international side. Lasso, he's got away from Fati, and Lasso to the byline. He felt he was checked, but he hurled himself at Capone as much as Capone hurled himself at him, and the outcome is a goal kick.
Yeah, but it's positive. He went at the defender. He went past Fati at one stage. I mean, that's he's trying to buy a decision there, Graham Lasso. But just before that, I thought Fati was the number 14. Fati was going to have a little kick at his heels. But that's encouraging, taking the game to them a bit.
Deschamps, Flo, Zola. Popescu as assured as ever. Cleared by Capone. Hakan Ünsal, from whose full-back berth significant danger has already been born. Poyet's broken it up this time though, only for Popescu, onto Tottenham Hotspur, to come between Chelsea and goal. Here's Arif, Hakan Sukur, Arif again, Leboeuf came between them. Lasso.
I think this is a chance. They've got a chance now to just try and retain the ball for a bit, build up a bit of confidence and take the heat out of the opposition. They haven't had many chances, they've been pressurised very early. But now they're getting a chance to spread the play a bit.
Ferrer. Zola, onside. Aimed at Flo. Header out by Popescu. Hakan Ünsal under pressure from Ferrer, who's still forward. Poyet back towards the danger zone. Two guy covering the back four. And bringing it away was Okan, who was challenged by Jody Morris. Referees kept card in pocket. There was a little nick of the ankle though. Emre, Okan. Arif has pulled away wide. Fati is up from full back. Arif's pass dealt with by Babayaro. Out by Deschamps. Lasso hadn't made the run that Deschamps anticipated. Capone. Haji. Flick on by Hakan Sukur. Kept in by Okan. Faced by Babayaro. Okan's cross. Leboeuf's all alone, with sufficient space to deal with it in a relatively relaxed way, though he perhaps took liberties. Arif nearly nipped in as a result of that. Out by Flo. One more pass from Zola, and Poyet had a free run. But by fair means or foul, Hakan Ünsal was aware of that and wasn't going to permit that pass to be made. Poyet was free on the far side if he could have been let go. Poyet with Ferrer charging outside of it. Poyet's got himself. An ambitious crack cut out by Emre. Back heel from Arif was mightily ambitious itself, and in the tangle that followed, he came out second with Albert Ferrer.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody holding back. They're diving in, forwards are tackling. I mean, to me, that was perfectly legit tackle, but I think there's that much frantic play at the moment. I think the referee's got a problem with it, getting caught up with it.
Haji. Rolling back the ears and rolling forward for Galatasaray. And lifting a ball in which will be deemed meaningless by the raising of the flag on the near side. Hakan Sukur's hopes were raised, but long before then he'd got half a yard ahead of himself and the flag was raised.
But it is very, very close again with this fella pulling on the shoulder. It's got to be a warning sign. When he's out on the right, Haji, and the manager will tell him this, when he's out on the right, Haji, he ain't going nowhere. He's coming infield with his left foot, then he's going to play a ball between the two centre-backs. First of all, they've got to try and push him onto his right foot. If it's Babayaro or Lasso challenging him, they've got to try and make him play down off his right side a bit more. They're allowing him to come in field too easily and pick a pass.
Out by Capone, met by Desai. Jody Morris. Tugay. Haji. Oh, he's played it through the legs of Morris. Tugay again. Emre, player with a teenager's appetite. Hakan Ünsal. Terrific spreading of the play. Unsal's ball in, and Ferreira once of Barcelona. He played with that club on this ground and was beaten here 5 years ago. Flo to chase. Fati going back and feeling the Norwegian breath on the back of his neck. And dealing with the whole situation with marvellous assurance.
Where Galatasaray have done particularly well in the early stages of the game, they've managed to push Zola so deep, and he's still effective from there. He can still pick a pass or do a trick, but the last place you want Zola is round the edge of your penalty box.
Lasso, mistake by Capone. Zola arriving far post. It's come through to Gus Poyet! No one needs telling how fiercely he connects, and Mehmet would have felt the sting.
Don't underestimate the part little Zola plays in it. He knows he's not going to do it and get the ball, but he jumps high enough just to put the defender off, and a good first-time shot there from Poyet.
Chelsea's best moment. Chelsea's corner. Desai forward. Header from Flo. Torre Andre Flo is Belisha Beacon striker, very, very visible.
Yeah, it's a bit of a soft header, that. Desai is taking defenders under the ball. He's got a bit of a free header there. Space either side of the keeper. He might have been entitled to make the keeper work harder for that. But two encouraging moments in the last few seconds for Chelsea. And they need them because they've been under the cosh since the kickoff.
We gather from the touchline that the instruction from Bialy is to get Lasso wider and more often. And it is from the left-hand side, but they have profited once or twice and did so just a short while ago. But now it's Zola down the right flank with Flo to Ayman in the middle again, and Capone at full stretch, and another corner. And Chelsea are finding a new gear here. They're finding their feet. They're making themselves comfortable, and they're making Fatih Terim less than comfortable. Warm up, boys, and give the others something to worry about. Zola once again to deliver. Flo again to climb.
And I think the keeper showed his inexperience, and he came chasing a ball that he got no chance.
Popescu, whose season with Spurs included 2 draws against Chelsea, at the lane and at the bridge. Lasso, Babiaro, the left-sided width to which we referred a short while ago. Capone's attempted clearance charged down by Flo. A man who uniquely in the Chelsea side has been involved in all 4 of their most recent fixtures. Played the last few minutes against Galatasaray at home, the last few against Manchester United, and the League Cup tie against Huddersfield. And was also involved at Anfield against Liverpool at the weekend. He's the man who straddles first and second 11s. Foul by Hakan Unsal. Poyet, the Uruguayan, whose absence from the game in Berlin might well have been key.
Looking at that, if you were Hakan Unsal, you'd think you'd got a legitimate case not to have a free kick given against you, wouldn't you?
Ferrer hit it at Flo. Okan. Lasseau had it stolen away from him by Fati. Nicely cushioned clearance by Deschamps. Leboeuf.
This is where they've got to be brave now, Chelsea. Not physically brave, but brave enough, morally brave to play when they've got the opportunity. Keep the ball. That's brilliant football from them.
Terrific from Leboeuf, and helped on its way by Poyet. And gathered by Flo, with Zola waiting on the edge of the penalty area and Morris. Hakan Ünsal, faced by Ferrer, hit it against Deschamps. Poyet, Flo, Deschamps, wants Zola to set off and go, but Capone had a yard and a half's head start. Tugay. Arif.
Yes, he got excited there, Arif. He made a good first position. Great long ball from Tugay, got him in there. But that's a wasted situation.
This is noise that begins at lunchtime. And doesn't abate, I gather, until almost breakfast time, certainly if Galatasaray win, which they have to do. Haji. Arif. Away from Deschamps. A lot of space for Fati, who gave and went and tested Babayaro.
Good thankless running there again from Tor Andre Flo. Pressure-eyed Capone into a mistake. Takes the heat off Chelsea. Babayaro puts it back on them by getting caught in possession.
Flo. Zola. Poyet. Ferrer outside of him. Haji with the tackle. Half an hour gone. Istanbul, Galatasaray 0, Chelsea 0. A draw for Chelsea would be somewhere significantly close to satisfactory. It won't do for the Turkish side. Lasseau's header through. Flo tumbling, kept Chelsea on the ball. Morris aims to do the same. And in his ferocious ambition so to do, he errs in the eyes of the referee again. Two little lads, both barely touching 20 in direct opposition. Emre, tackled by Poyet. Allowed to go this time by the referee. Through by Zola, Flo's onside. He timed his run well. It's Tor Andre Flo all alone, and with Morris charging up in support, Flo won't need him! Tor Andre Flo for Chelsea! And the silence is deafening. All bar 100 or two who are dreaming now. Tor Andre Flo, who timed his run so well.
This is where he does well. He holds up. He's actually looking for support, first of all. Can't get it. Popescu doesn't close him down. He shifts the ball, picks a spot, and arrows it past the keeper. At this stage, he's looking for his midfield players to come galloping up. He shapes. Nobody there tucks in. Defender can't close him out. Good shot into the far corner. But that is probably the reason why he got the nod over Sutton tonight. He may be a little bit of pace, can go on his own a bit.
And the extraordinary dip in volume around us when the ball hit the net then was incredible.
I think Popescu, maybe could have done more about the goal. I think maybe he could have closed out. Certainly you should know enough about Tor-André Flo to keep him on his left foot, but he was having a little long look at the goalkeeper, who I think he thought there was some indecision before the goal. I think he thought the keeper might have come for the first through ball from Zola. Don't think he got any chance. But here we got another one of those dangerous free kicks.
Tackle by Deschamps, and significantly Okan having conceded the free kick. Here's the goal again from Flo, and the goalkeeper maybe did offer him half a yard to aim at.
Yeah, but I thought the defender should have been tighter. I mean, Tor-André Flo can go off his left side, but he's predominantly a right-footed player.
It's De Hoy at the other end with the problems now. And I was just going to mention that Haji has been off the pitch for the last couple of minutes, receiving treatment to his lower back. And he returns now only for the set piece. 4 in the Chelsea wall, and Haji to hit it with just a mite too much elevation. He's had 3 cracks now from the right side of the penalty area, which would favour his natural left-footed in-swing.
That's a good wall of Chelsea's there. 5 of the minutes. Hadn't got much to shoot at.
Emre. Arif one way, Hakan Şükür the other. This is Arif, now Tugay. Hakan Şükür held it up well. Okan trying to battle through, away by Babayaro. Haji. Emre. Haji again. Haji to the byline. High for Hakan Şükür, header away by Babayaro, came to Tugay. Ten minutes before half-time, Ronda, Chelsea start thinking in those terms.
No, I think they've got to keep being brave. The best chances are when they keep the ball. Generally when it gets into Zola's feet, if he's not in the attacking zone, at least, as he proved with the goal, he's good enough to pick a pass, but they're on the attack now. Good tackle.
Super tackle by Leboeuf. Poyet. Popescu. Straight down Desai's throat. Regathered by Okan. Challenged by Lasso, who considers he took the ball. Okan got the benefit of the doubt.
I think there's a lot of free kicks being given at the moment for some of the early stuff that went on, first 10 minutes or so, because that looked just a bundle. It didn't look as if he'd actually fouled into me, Lasso.
Away by Morris. Down by Popescu. Emre. A bit slack. Zola. And Flo was a yard offside, only a couple of yards inside opposition territory.
But he's read a lot of passes from Zola tonight. Flo, I mean, they've played offside virtually in the opponent's half there.
Fati. Hakan Şükür with a flick! Very, very close. His was the first flick, De Hoy's was the critical second, and the crossbars was the third.
Unfortunately, it didn't come back down, because I think it was Arif was following him with an empty touch on. But he is a threat, that fella Şükür. He gets between players. He's done it again. He's just got he doesn't really know where he is. Got a helping on header. If that falls off the front of the bar, they've got a knock in.
Top scorer in Turkish football, 3 years running. He got a goal for them at home here to Hertha Berlin.
What he is, he's very, very economical in his movement. He doesn't make long runs to the wide areas. He stays between the 2 centre-backs and then tries to lose his marker by get his marker ball watching.
Tugay. Babayaro away from Arif, and there's a bit of space here for Chelsea. They've got 3-on-3 momentarily. Deschamps, Zola, Flo back post. Deschamps getting forward in support. Zola with the whipped cross, but the proximity of the fullback meant that he needed still more whip even than that. It was a Guppy Beckham situation where he needed somehow to bend it round the very close defender. Emre, Hakan Ünsal, Tugay, Emre. It's a lovely touch. He got away from a player with infinitely more experience in Deschamps, but the move broke down at Morris's feet. Lasso, Babayaro, Zola. Lasso is furthest forward. Flo is on the far side. Morris edge of the penalty area. Two guys challenge. Chelsea's free kick.
Yeah, Zola does great here. Looks if he's going to duck back in, does his little trick. Tugay does actually have a rattle at him, but I think that's more in frustration. I don't think he got a clue where the little fella was going, Zola.
This is territory from which he can generally conjure. Poyet is forward at the back post for him, together with Flo. Desai has got forward as well. The berth is near post. It's Zola to play it in with too much for all of them. An opportunity goes begging. Arif running at Desai. Okan. Arif. Oh, it's very, very neat. Hakan Sukur. Turning circle was close to Tugay. Into space, the first to occupy which was Graham Lasso, and he let it run into touch anyway.
Yeah, but after a shaky first 10 or 15 minutes when he got booked, Frank Leboeuf's been very, very clinical with his challenges. Seems if he's made up his mind, he's just about to make a rash one, but he was patient there. But he's blocked 2 or 3 vital interceptions in the box.
Deschamps tumbling into Emre. Capone. Hakan Ünsal. Out again by Leboeuf. Zola. Flo.
I think Flo has shown excellent anticipation of Zola's passing ability. Zola's playing a lot deeper than he normally does, and that's because he's being forced to, but his link up with the big Norwegian's been brilliant. And what he's shown as well, of course, which he always does, the little fella, apart from great skill, is a tremendous energy level. And I think that's throughout the side. I think both sides have played very, very energetically, and you know, you just wonder whether they can, or one of the teams will go weak at the end.
Oh, Lasso kept on going, and he's gone away from Fati. It's Lasso's cross. Flo was poised at the back post. Should it have come to him?
I think he should have attacked it, Peter. I think Flo should have gone in, and he picked up the line of the ball early and gone and attacked it. He might have got something for himself there.
Leboeuf with a good, fair, firm challenge, who had to delay his forward pass though because Flo and Zola were coming back from offside positions, and as a result of that the move never got momentum again. Haji has it now. This is dangerous for Chelsea. Desai's header away. Leboeuf is still down injured in the other half of the field in an offside position, and it appears to be a problem with his shoulder. The clash was with Tugay, who is also down. Now Leboeuf had to hobble off at Anfield at the weekend after getting a little nibble at his ankles from Michael Owen. This is an entirely different kettle of fish. Tugay it was who clashed with him, and while they're receiving treatment, news from Group F. Well, let's see the incident again first. Here's Leboeuf.
Yeah, he was carrying it forward, then he seemed to get into a... I don't think it was the first incident. That didn't look fearsome enough to cause an injury. It was just when he lost possession at the end.
And it seems from those pictures, Ron, as if it was the way Leboeuf fell that hurt him.
I may not be giving the opposition enough credit there for whacking him or banging him. Certainly, he did take a fairly hefty blow, but he's a centre half. Centre halves get up when they get whacked. Although I forgot our game's too violent.
Absolutely. You said it.
No, I didn't.
He did.
Oh, he said it, yeah.
He's won the World Cup, so what he says goes. They never stop, you know. They just never stop.
I think 2 more goals against them might just sort of quieten them down a little bit. I think they could turn on their own team then.
And as I mentioned at the time, they did stop for about 4 seconds after Flo broke the deadlock for Chelsea. Aim towards Arif. Hakan Şükür is in there. Ferrer just across in time to cut off his route to goal.
You know, it's incredible. I mean, they play together at national level. They play together week in and week out. The 2 French lads, Desailly and Leboeuf. But there's times when they don't quite have the understanding you think they would have, particularly when the ball's in the air, coming straight down the middle. Not so much on crosses, but when it comes straight through the middle.
At times on Saturday when Michael Owen, alone up front for Liverpool, tested them pretty fulsomely with young Danny Murphy coming forward from midfield in support. Now here's a scoreline that might make European football sit up and listen. Comes from Germany, and it's Hertha Berlin 1, AC Milan 0. That, of course, in this group, Chelsea's group, Group H. Chelsea in the San Siro next Tuesday, and they finish at home to Hertha Berlin. Flo, forward for Zola, who opened his legs and attempted to sprint away from Fati, but the fullback had a yard on him. Arif. Ferrer's clearance. Fati. Hakan Şükür peeling away. Ferrer watching him and watching the ball go behind.
They do seem dangerous when they bend that ball in, when they hit left-footed balls into the box from the right-hand side. You just wonder whether Chelsea can afford to hold the edge of the penalty box a little bit longer. Don't go so deep in and keep them pushed out. If you like, invite them to run into offside positions, or put a big demand on the goalkeeper to come and take through balls. We're into the last minute. They give us another minute. I thought there might have been more than that.
Zola again setting off and going. He's not one who comprehends the notion of a less cause. Popescu. Desailly commanded okay then. Deschamps attempted to keep it going, even from a prone position. And was awarded a free kick into what is now, as you see from the ticking clock, turning into additional stoppage time. We were promised a minute. Zola. Morris.
You know, every time you see Chelsea, you have to say about the contribution little Zola makes. Brilliant.
And he has contributed fulsomely to a highly successful first half for Chelsea. Never mind hell, this is close to utopia. Tore Andre Flo, Chelsea lead at half-time in Istanbul by that goal to 0. Chelsea had 2 options when they came to this ground, to be intimidated or to be invigorated. And in the first half, they surely chose the latter. In response to Chelsea, Galatasaray have made 2 changes at half-time. Number 22, Umit, and number 23, Hakan Şükür, are the players who have come on. And certainly in the case of Hakan Şükür, number 23, that is a bold attacking move. He's a left-sided striker who might be involved very early on in the second half. Indeed, the cross is played towards him at the back post. Hakan Sash with the header, and Jody Morris with the clearance from around about the penalty spot. And Haji is one of the players who has given way. Hakan Unsol with the ball across the face of the penalty area. This is Okan. Played in towards Hakan Sukur, out by Leboeuf. Further clear by Zola. Tugay with the shot, which didn't have a lot of venom, and Desailly brought it clear. Capone. An energetic start from Galatasaray, stung perhaps by managerial words at the break. Okan with the cross, Arif attempting to flick on, Leboeuf with a header clear. Capone, the Brazilian. Okan. Leboeuf in a physical challenge with Umit. Tugay. Deschamps penalised, his foot was a little raised. And here comes the noise again. Tugay over the set piece. Popescu is forward as a target for it. Out by Flo, and Leboeuf had been hurt in attempting to make the original covering header in any case. Do you notice a change, Ron, in terms of shape from Galatasaray, having made those two personnel changes?
Yeah, well, whether or not Umit was to go, and he'll certainly attack from midfield. Sass will take the left-hand position that's been occupied for part of the time by Haji. I think they've probably said, all right, we will go, unless Haji's got a back strain, which he possibly had a bit of in the first half. I think they've probably said, let's go for more energy. Let's go for a more energetic, competitive, offensive midfield, if you like, because Umit is certainly an offensive midfield player.
Has been an energised restart by the Turkish side. 13 times the champions of their country. Confirmation of the changes. Deschamps away from Tugay. Hakan Unsol with the throw. Arif, Emre, Arif, Hakan Sukur, Arif, well read by Leboeuf, really well read and well broken up, then by Lasso, and now by Morris, and Zola has a bit of space, and Capone going across. And Zola's held it up expertly, and Celestine Babayaro has joined it. Zola again. Morris waiting edge of the penalty area. Flo waiting back post. It's Zola's cross. It's Poyet's header. It's Torre Andre Flo. It's 2-0 Chelsea. In the ground they love to name hell. It's getting closer and closer to Chelsea utopia.
We wondered why he'd made the decision at the start to leave Sutton out and bring in Torre Andre Flo. There's the answer. Nice little drop header from a Zola cross. Poyet, nice. He could have pulled it down. I thought he was going to go for the header first ball there. I thought, go and attack it with your head, but no, he's pulled it down. Popescu's round him again, but hasn't really made a challenge. He's taking his time, nice and steady, sees only the ball, and when it's United, he hooks that 1 inch perfect. But a very, very good move. Big part by Zola, the left-sided cross. Great little drop header by Poyet, who's made up the distance on this side.
And Torre Andre Flo takes his European goals tally for Chelsea to 6. He goes past Gianfranco Zola, past Peter Houseman, past John Hollins, and he is now within one of the boss, Gianluca Vialli, on 7. 2 tonight, though, most pertinent in the context of the Champions League campaign, which now starts to look extraordinarily bright for Chelsea.
They'll have a double meaning as well, because they will have come out in the second half, Galatasaray, fired up. The coach will be saying to them, we must get an equaliser in the first 10 minutes. Chelsea will probably say, let's see the storm off. They've given a very, very effective answer. They've gone out and put the game almost beyond Galatasaray. Now what they need to do now is just keep the game steady, nice. Don't chase it, don't force it, stay disciplined. And if you like, play off the front men.
Ferrer. Lasso. Babayaro. Lasso. Babayaro again. Chelsea here are going beyond their initial job description. They haven't just drawn the sting, they've stung back, and they aim to do so again with Graham Lasso, who impressed in this more advanced position during the first half. Morris. Energy personified himself. Running into Umit. What a big opportunity for Jody Morris.
You think at this moment, I mean, there's a lot of the crowders are absolutely stunned and still. Those that are making a noise seem as if they're going by memory.
So it doesn't feel as it did an hour ago, and for that gentleman it doesn't feel as good as it did an hour ago. Galatasaray are close to elimination here. Dangerous though that is to say in circumstances like these, a long, long way from home where there is much football still to be played. It is Galatasaray's 5th Champions League campaign. In 3 of the first 4, they finished bottom of their league. Last year they were mighty close to going through in the tightest group of the lot. They got 8 points, and so did Juventus, who made it in to the quarter-finals, as English supporters know so well.
What's been nice as well for the Chelsea front players is the way they've played Galatasaray. They've played with both fullbacks in advance of the central defenders. Often you'll find big gaps down the side of the 2 central defenders, and that's where most of the time the 2 Zola and in fact Tor-Andre Flo have been making their movement.
Okan, Tugay, Umit, and Tugay again. He's been pivotal, just in front of the back 4, but a passer as well, a distributor. Popescu. Terribly short pass from Popescu, which left Hasan Sash with not much of a chance. Tugay gets it back, and Hakan Sukur rises, and Arif attempts to turn mid-air and gathers it in, and required Ed de Hoy to read, to anticipate, and to plunge at his near post.
Yeah, you tend to think that the game is over now, but you have to remember, was it in the first game they came back from a 2-goal deficit, Galatasaray, and managed to pull it out, pull something out the bag?
That's exactly right. They were 2 down to Hertha Berlin inside a quarter of an hour and got a draw. They were also 2 down in the San Siro and fought back to 2-1.
You know full well if they got a goal, if they could get it to 2-1, particularly quickly, the crowd would lift, the crowd would erupt. But at the moment, they look as if for the first time they may have realised they may have lost. They do seem to be playing like a team that's lost a lot of spirit, lost a lot of heart.
Emre, Deschamps. Chelsea playing with poise now, and Zola running from deep, and onside, and all alone. Gianfranco Zola must be 3-0 Chelsea. Oh, that means so much. What a wonderful pass from deep. And Zola has never known such solitude in front of goal.
You know, it's amazing. That's a tribute to his class. At no given time did you ever think he was going to miss. As he's running through, I'm thinking there's a young and inexperienced keeper facing one of the world's great players. Which tricks are he going to do him with? I thought he was going to nutmeg him on this, but he's run from a deep position. They're looking for Tor-Andre Flo being offside, but he's walking back. Now look at this. One-on-one, looks up, nice and steady, does a trick, lollipops him, does it once, opens the goal up for himself. Inexperienced goalie being very, very much punished.
Hakan Sash, Galatasaray have to throw the kitchen sink at it now.
Tell you what that goal does, though, it does bring up big debates and big doubts. I mean, there's no question Tor-Andre Flo was offside. I mean, this is pure genius. Little step over. Go on, my son. Keeper's nowhere. Keeper's not even clever enough to bring him down. But, you know, if you looked at the build-up, Tor-Andre Flo was definitely offside. Although, as they say, and you see it week in and week out, other weeks you see free kicks or offsides given. He'll miss it this time. He'll not make him the next time he's clean through, I promise you.
Well, it's lovely to have the time to go through 3 or 4 tricks. Normally only get the scope for 1. Zola last scored against Sunderland at Stamford Bridge in the first week or two of sunny August, when we're all still coming back from poolside.
Hey, by the way, nobody's deserved it more than him. He's been outstanding, he's been creative, he's worked very, very hard. He's a superb team player, and as he's proved there, he's a magnificent individualist.
Flo to the byline, and Flo with the cross, and little Zola was climbing as well, and Mehmet came to catch. I did see him out-jump Huppier, the Finn, at the heart of Liverpool's defence at the weekend, which was mildly amusing. He has fantastic spring. They've got a few tiny tots in the side, Chelsea, but they have towered in the inferno tonight. Morris 5'5", Zola and Wise 5'6", Ferrer 5'7", Deschamps 5'8". Little lads, but though Wise is on the bench this evening, the rest have acquitted themselves with massive stature. Desai. Hassan Sash. Poyet's little nick away. Ferrer.
I certainly think now that from Chelsea's point of view, all they've got to do is control the game, stay out of trouble, and don't concede anything, and just prepare themselves for the weekend football. They could have an amazing thing. If the other results go right, they could finish up top of the group tonight.
Absolutely, it needs there to be a draw in Berlin for that to be the case, but whatever, if Chelsea win here, they are in a qualifying position, at least second, possibly leading the group as a result of this potential result. Up by Umit.
I'm sure that we're surrounded by Turkish fans. I'm sure they've just heard one of them shout up and under. That one from Leboeuf.
Mentioned the need to rest for the weekend, which might become a factor if Chelsea continue to enjoy this comfort zone. They are, though, in the middle of an extraordinary run of fixtures. Liverpool away, Galatasaray away, Arsenal at home, and then Milan away. This off the back of a home game, of course, against Galatasaray, and that home game against Manchester United. It's Hakan Ünsal bursting into the box. Out of your picture, by the way, just down beneath us in what you would call the main stand here, I have to report, and it has nothing at all to do with Chelsea folk. I have to say there is quite a significant crowd disturbance involving yellow and red shirted supporters. Meanwhile, Chelsea, their supporters no doubt lifted by everything they've seen, attempt to make further inroads. But there are a lot of people right now not watching the football in this section of the ground. Arif, tackled by Babayaro. Deschamps, Zola, Babayaro, Deschamps. Galatasaray have committed a lot forward, and Popescu's gone into Deschamps near the halfway line. No foul has been given, which is as well for Popescu, because there was an argument that he and the other centre-half, Capone, were the last players between Deschamps and goal, albeit that there was 55 yards to run still.
Yeah, they've been afforded no cover at all, the two central defenders, from the time of the first goal. But I think they've been, particularly Popescu, I think Popescu's played very lazily. And full marks to Andre Flo for the two goals. Took them both superbly, but Popescu's defending left a lot to be desired. He doesn't look as if he wants to do the ugly things in football anymore, like challenge and compete. The things, to be fair, that Leboeuf and Desai did first half.
And there's Leboeuf doing them again during the second half, rising at the near post to snuff out the immediate danger of the free kick.
Yeah, it's not one of their classical performances by a long chalk, but they're stuck in there. They've prevented people getting shots in, and that's the important thing for central defenders. Don't let the opposition get a sight of goal.
Chelsea, despite leading 3-0, sensibly had everyone behind the ball. Deschamps has pushed forward, and Morris has profited from that hard work. And again, there are only 2 men back near halfway for Galatasaray. If someone can dig out another far-reaching, far-sighted ball, then Zola or Flo will be well capable of running onto it and rubbing salt into significant Turkish wounds here. Tugay. Played in by Umit. And Dahoy with the catch.
They've also, you know, all right, the 2 goals down early on have really upset them, but they've missed a lot of the guile, and I know he doesn't get in the game an awful lot. Hadji takes his time, takes time out, floats on both sides, has no defensive responsibilities, but he is cunning and he can put some skillful passes through people, and I think they're missing that at the moment.
Well, Rangers are banging them in tonight as well. At Ibrox, latest score now from Group F, Rangers 3, PSV Eindhoven 1. The latest scorer for Rangers, McCann. They lead 3-1. Champions of Scotland and Chelsea of England lead 3-0 in Istanbul. It's a magnificent effort. Tugay. Okan. Emre. Okan. Tackle again by Deschamps. He's showing great drive as well.
Yeah, I think two of the solid citizens they've had in the first half. Little Ferrer always does a steady, competent full-back job, and Deschamps plays. He puts so much enthusiasm into his game, and he's prepared to sweat buckets for the team.
Umit. Caballero's challenge. Umit went down, and the referee has interpreted that as a foul. From the point of view of the Chelsea full-back, it's unnecessary indiscretion insofar as the ball was clearly destined to go out for the corner, but Umit, for a goal kick, I beg your pardon, but Umit had played for the foul and he got it, and the free kick's a dangerous one, and Dahoy was caught in an awkward predicament, barely off his line, but still in no man's land.
This is incredible when this ball comes over. How Umit misses this one. I mean, they've had two scrape the post, 2 hit the woodwork. That is certainly the nearest they've come to scoring from in if you like, a second chance.
Gather, by the way, that some of you are experiencing picture disturbances back home. Of course, we apologise for that. The problems are at this end. They're local Turkish problems. Hope you're enjoying the game anyway. If you're a Chelsea fan, you certainly will be. Not the only local Turkish problems either, as well as the crowd disturbance, which I'm glad to report has now quietened down. I gather that outside of the ground, more on that in just a second. Hasan Sash cut out by Desai. Hakan Sukur has gone down, and a penalty has been awarded against Marcel Desai, who is... No, the yellow card is against Hakan Sukur. And the free kick is Chelsea's. For a dive. What do you think, Ron?
I thought he exaggerated it. I must admit, when the referee pointed, I certainly thought it was a penalty. I thought he'd given a penalty.
Well, he suckered me. But the referee wasn't having it, and that is Hakan Sukur's last contribution, because he's now being replaced by Safet. Been a massively frustrating experience for the big man up front. This is a straight swap that occurred against Antalyaspor in the Turkish league on Friday night.
Strange one, that, you know. He's had 1 or 2 contributions, not overall. He hasn't had an overall contribution. But I would have thought it's dangerous to bring your best goal scorer off if you want to get back into the game. Perhaps he doesn't want him to run the risk of getting sent off.
Mentioning the local Turkish problems, one of them is also that apparently a lot of the supporters have begun leaving the ground now. I gather from outside that there are plenty who don't want to see any more. Umit, cut out by Deschamps. How many times has one had the opportunity to say that on the evening? Hassan Sash. Arif. Tackle from Ferrer.
Yeah, they've dealt with him very well, Arif. I mean, he looks a very, very powerful threat in the half hour or so he played at Stamford Bridge, but they've dealt with him very well. He's played a little bit deeper today as well.
And Chelsea are now preparing to make a couple of changes. There's Dennis Wise, omitted tonight, not, we gather, because of matters disciplinary. Is sending off at Anfield, merely as part of Gianluca Vialli's squad rotation system. Well, he gets a game now, and Didier Deschamps gives way. As you see, Gustavo Poyet is also giving way, and Dan Petrescu will come on for Chelsea. Wise playing his 28th game in European football for Chelsea, and that sets a new record for the club. He goes away from John Hollins on 27.
I don't think you'd have got a bet with a fair bit of time to go that they could have afforded the luxury of withdrawing Didier Deschamps, but this is a good chance for them here.
Arif shots! Goal kick.
Yeah, should have scored there, Arif. Runs under it well, opens it up on his left foot. He's got plenty of time and space. He's not closed down. Hasn't even made the keeper work. Certainly the best chances from a movement. He's got a clear sighting and goal and just drags it with his left foot wide of the post.
Oh, now Flo went up with Popescu there, and there were arms being waved all over the place. And then when they came down to earth, Popescu, I think, had a little dig. Flo's been awarded a free kick.
Yeah, he should have been making contact with him more in the game if he wanted to make an impact, Popescu.
Desai gave it away to Hassan Sash. Safet. Emre. Hassan Sash. Comfortable for De Hoy. Quarter of the game to go. Georgie Haji is just a spectator now. Had a moment or two which promised a little. Popescu.
Well, it's comparatively peace, isn't it, doing the commentary now? In comparison to how it was with the sound, we could hardly hear each other.
Nice to hear what you're saying, Ron. Petrescu. Sure, your comments in the first half were particularly cogent and intelligent. I didn't know a lot about them. Safet. Babayaro, Wise. Well, it makes the mathematics of this group a mite simpler if things work out this way. You can count Galatasaray out of any equation. It'll be 2 from 3. De Hoy with the flick, and Sola making good tracks again. And Chelsea's European record actually is splendid. They don't have a massive heritage on the continent, but in a total of 8 European campaigns prior to the current one, Chelsea have reached at least the semi-final no fewer than 5 times. When they are involved, they tend to make themselves fulsomely involved. And the portents are good right now as well. This, of course, is their first time in the really big one. Zokan's foul on Celestine Babayaro.
Yeah, but they have got a very, very experienced side, haven't they? Although they're not as a team in this particular competition. They've got enough players that have played in the biggest matches of all.
Petrescu, Zola, Flo on a hat-trick. Good tackle by Umit. Lasso. Wise. Ferrer.
I think it's a tribute as well to the little fellow. I know we keep giving him platitudes and all that, but he deserves them for his effort and his energy and his enthusiasm, and then his fabulous skill, Zola. But I think it's a tribute to them that Vialli still left him on the field. You know, you would have thought he's the one he would want to protect most.
Shot from Emre. Youthful, impetuous, hopeful, dreaming, long way over the bar. But if somebody had told you an hour before kick-off, Ron, that we'd be watching the last 20 minutes and talking about Chelsea in a comfort zone like this, playing out time in something approximating to silence, with supporters like those lacking any sort of animation at all, you wouldn't believe them. Flo's played it through, Zola's offside.
Fans' reaction there to what they think was an injustice when Zola got his goal. The fact that Flo was offside, or was coming back from an offside position. Yeah, I mean, I thought that when Didier Deschamps went off, I thought, would you believe, in a match that we thought was going to be really steeped and passionate and, you know, nail-biting, that you'd be able to afford the luxury of being able to take off Didier Deschamps.
Tugay. Tahoe just got a hand on it. It was sufficient for now. Hassan Sash trying to wriggle his way into the penalty area.
I think since the substitutions has been a little bit, they've got a bit sloppy of Chelsea. They haven't, all right, the opposition are trying their utmost, Galatasaray, to try and force something out or save some face from the game, but Chelsea do seem to have gone just a little bit sloppy.
Ferrer gave away the free kick. De Hoy punched it after Arif had delivered it. Tugay's going to belt it back in. And then the eventual shot again from Emre, who's getting more and more distant each time he has a crack. 25, 30, then 35, 40 yards out. And Chelsea are going to make another change shortly. Ambrosetti is waiting on the touchline to be introduced. But he's having to wait his moment just for now. And Zola, I gather, is the player who will be withdrawn. He's painted his pictures for one evening. Ambrosetti, of course, started the game against Galatasaray at Stamford Bridge and delivered one or two very, very inviting crosses from the left.
It's often a good tactic. I don't know whether I wouldn't have thought Vialli's going to play Ambrosetti up the middle. I would have thought he'd have brought Sutton on for that reason, but it looks maybe he's just going to try and close both flanks down, just play with Flo through the middle on his own and close both flanks down.
Zola checking with Umit so close to him. Wise. The whistle's gone for that foul on Zola. Long time after the ball had disappeared by Umit. Wise was mildly disappointed because he felt that the advantage would have favoured him. Umit, though, receives the yellow card, and as you saw there, is ineligible for Galatasaray's next match in Berlin next week. And so rather than striding off gloriously, Gianfranco Zola hobbles off. And after all we've said about these Turkish supporters, let it be reported that around the ground he is being universally applauded off.
Yeah, and rightly so. And I mean, full marks to the Galatasaray fans for that. They've appreciated it, although he's ripped their team to pieces tonight.
So clever ball, Babayaro. Umit. Well, Lasso is remaining down the left-hand side for Chelsea by the looks of things, and Ambrosetti has gone close to Flo. Quarter of an hour to go, and though they have been silenced for a little while now, the drummers are having one last plaintive bash. Hassan Sash, faced by Ferrer, good tackle. Spaniards had an unfussy but unerring game.
I would think if you watch Chelsea week in and week out, I think you probably say that about him every time he performs. He's one of those that if you're marking him out of 10, he's never less than 7. Probably gets a few 8s, but never 9s and 10s, but always 7s. A real steady Eddie.
Tugai. Cut out by Morris, further forward by Wise, Flo, Lasso. Flo charging through the middle. If Lasso wants to release him, it's Lasso's ball in.
Yeah, a bit heavy that, wasn't it?
Well.
Ambrosetti just needed to be played with a little bit of dying to the corner of the box. It's an interesting one, Ambrosetti. Whether Gianluca Vialli's going to try and give him some more confidence and get him more used to playing with the team. If you're thinking logic, you would have thought that Sutton would have been on. Then we were just saying about how well that Ferrer had done when all of a sudden he makes his first real mistake of the game and he gets away with it.
Babayaro. Lasso. Flo. The flag has stayed down. He has Wise in the middle. It's Flo. It's Dennis Wise. How he will love that moment. And why wouldn't he? This is icing on a cake so rich as to be thoroughly, thoroughly palatable for those who've travelled from Chelsea. 4-0. 4-0 in Istanbul.
Well, that's unselfish. I mean, I think he'd have taken some stick if he hadn't laid it into the path. You've seen a whole defence now. You've seen the Turkish defence, Galatasaray. They've laid down, they've died, but they're just running at will now with the Chelsea front players.
What a moment for the Chelsea captain, who didn't start, but could hardly help finishing. Graham Lasso, meantime, is down, having to receive some treatment. Gianluca Vialli hasn't got an awful lot to worry about, but he has time and a cushion which enables him to do that worrying in a fairly unflapped manner. Hakan Ünsal, faced by Petrescu, and now pursuing an appallingly lost cause. Okan, tackled by Ambrosetti, and now it's 3-on-2 again, and Lasso is one way and Flo is the other, and Ambrosetti has ball at feet, and Flo can run at goal. It's Tore Andre Flo, and Graham Lasso was neither recipient eventually nor viewer of a strike at goal by Flo. What he delivered came
I think
between.
you probably should have taken that one closer, Peter. I think if he'd have taken it in, he'd have run the defence in, and the nearest they could have got was to maybe chopped him in the penalty box. But this will be, I would guess, probably the most comprehensive victory in Europe this week. Not only in terms of playing, but in terms of quality and so forth.
Arif. Let it run for Okan. Got it back himself. Arif into the penalty area, but without the ball. Talk about size and stature of victories. Chelsea, in the old two-legged days, still hold the British record for size of win. Way back in 1971, Peter Osgood got 5, and Tommy Baldwin a hat-trick in a 21-0 aggregate victory over Jeunesse Haute-Charage of Luxembourg. They won that 8-0 away, but I would guess that 4-0 in Istanbul equates, and more so, to 8 in a minor nation like that. This is a vast, vast win. Two guy the meat in the sandwich. Galatasaray's free kick. Teed up for Emre. Into Babayaro. Clearance will be chased by Petrescu. Hakan Ünsal was last man back and had to be there.
And every time they knock a ball forward on the break now, Chelsea, they seem to be outnumbering. I think, actually, I've got a feeling that the whole of the Galatasaray back four, or certainly the central defenders, have gone home.
They aren't the only ones. There are massive, massive gaps in the crowd now. Lots and lots of empty seats. Only the bullish "we'll support you evermore" types are still here. Hakan Ünsal. Ferrer. Tugay. Tugay shot.
He's actually kept battling Tugay. Number 20, the captain. He's one of the few that hasn't let his head drop, that's tried to keep it going.
Arrived here from Trabzonspor as a teenager more than a decade ago. He's now played more than 50 times in Europe for them.
You know, just thinking about this as well, there's quite a number of these will be in contention when the Republic come here, so the Republic can draw a bit from this.
Ambrosetti onside, away from Capone, all on his own and waiting for support, which might be forthcoming from Petrescu. It wasn't forthcoming in time. Interesting challenge for him over the last 5 or 6 minutes through a sort of inside left channel without a touchline to hug inside. Flo with a shove in the back on Hakan Ünsal. Okan. The Berth with a cushioning header. Lasso. Babayaro. Through by Lasso. Emre. He's kept going as well. Safet. There always seems to be a Chelsea player there. This time it was Babayaro. Now Flo all alone on halfway. He's fallen a mite awkwardly. There's a hat-trick in the offing though, so he's quickly to his feet. Tugay. Safet. Still Safet. And still Desai and belted up towards Flo. You've lost the record we started the evening with, Ron. You were the only manager to have taken an English team to win away to Galatasaray. You'll have to share that with Mr. Vialli now.
Tell you what, we had a good win all those years ago, but nothing like as easy as this. I mean, they've absolutely strolled it. Since the first goal, since the 2 incidents that hit the woodwork and the first goal, Chelsea have never looked anything else but winners.
Wonder whether Tony Godden had as much to do as Ed De Hoy. Babayaro. Lasso, look at the space he's got and the options he's got. Came back to Morris. Petrescu. Wise has gone outside of him. Petrescu was part of a Steaua Bucharest side a decade ago that overcame Galatasaray home and away in the two-legged semi-final. He actually scored in Bucharest. That was Galatasaray's greatest European Cup year when they reached the last four.
Yeah, probably the goal he got at the bridge in the first match, you know, will be the most important out of the lot as well. You know, if they'd come out of that with a no-score draw, then you know, who knows? But that was a big psychological moment as well for Chelsea.
Babayaro, Ambrosetti, Flo wants it, Ambrossetti's had a go! Oh, what a super goal! What a goal! All his own work. It's gone beyond utopia. It's almost unbelievable.
Well, you just think now anything that gets hit forward, they're going to score. I mean, he's got the luxury there, Ambrosetti. When he controls, he's at a very tight angle, and he's actually got, I think it was Flo, we didn't quite see him in the picture there. I thought he was going to face it across the goal for somebody coming in. He's picked his spot, and
the poor young goalkeeper does not know which day it is.
No, I didn't want to be too cruel on him. He hasn't really produced any miracles, has he, the keeper? Not to say he could be playing with them, but maybe on a good night, a better keeper would have got a hand or something to 2 or 3 of them.
Out by Desai. Well, I'm sorry, but I just didn't consider this as a possibility. It's an almost ridiculous scoreline.
Well, you would have thought that if Chelsea were winning, they'd be desperate for the whistle to go, wouldn't you? Now, at the moment, Galatasaray, it'll be a mercy for them when the whistle goes.
Well, this is the Bear Pit, and Chelsea have turned out to be the Bears. They have given the other lot an awful mauling.
It's a teddy bear pit, isn't it? They've taken the heat out of the opposition, and they've really destroyed them. Still big moments in football, and the big moment for me was the goal, and then the little chance that maybe they should have scored with it, hit the woodwork. 1 or 2 other half chances, but really Chelsea have played. Second half, they give you the impression they've still got 2 or 3 extra gears in the locker.
Babayaro. Forward towards Petrescu.
As I say, virtually every ball that goes across the halfway line, you expect there to be a goal chance at the end of it. I don't know where, I have to say, normally as well, you look for your experienced defenders to do things for you. I've got to say that the Galatasaray defenders have really, the 2 central defenders have been non-existent, I think. They've let them have the ball like they're doing now. They haven't put any resistance up.
There'll be 3 extra minutes.
And the home side can't wait. They'll want that clock to tick like anything.
Never seen quite so many empty plastic seats as one can see inside this ground now. It was fuller at lunchtime than it is now.
It was also a more difficult match for Chelsea at lunchtime than it is now.
Well, Chelsea have effectively picked those people up and dragged them out of the ground. Leboeuf, Ferrer. It's showtime now. It's Petrescu. It's Torre Andre Flo. Flo! Oh, it's a good save. Denied him his hat-trick. Flo showed him a bit of it, but the keeper made himself big enough. Safet going to ground. These are meaningless moments, though, for Galatasaray, who won't be in the last 16 of the Champions League this year. Arif is over the free kick. Tahoe will continue to concentrate. Rather sums up the evening. Well might Tahoe applaud. He's the man we look to now. Petrescu. Wise. Leboeuf. Lasso. Babayaro. Well, right, the headlines now. Chelsea's Turkish delight. What more do you need to know than that information? Galatasaray 0, Chelsea, hear it, Chelsea 5.